Welcome back. In the previous episode, we packed all the bins, we loaded the trailer, and now we're off. So let's talk about where we're going. Okay, so we're going to leave Southern California and head to Williams, Arizona, which is right outside the Grand Canyon. And then from there, we're going to go to our property in Southern Colorado. And we'll spend a few days there. And then we're going to go to Colorado Springs, spend some time with some family. And then from there, we're going to go to Cheyenne, Wyoming. And then Casper, Wyoming, and then Gillette, Wyoming. And then from Gillette, we're going to go to Cody, Wyoming, which is right outside Yellowstone. And then we're going to go through Yellowstone into Jackson, going through the Grand Tetons. And then from there, we're coming back home.
Welcome to colorful Colorado. We're in Colorado now.
Right now. All right, made it to the property. Now we're gonna unload. Nothing shifted too bad. Ready to set up and come up with a game plan. All right, so me and the kids have a string and a couple of stakes and a level that hangs on the string. And we're trying to figure out how out of level the land actually is, because when we were here with the big tent, we were rolling out of the bed because it was so out of level. So we're trying to figure that out, and we're trying to see if we can actually grade it by hand or if it's too far gone to do by hand and we'll need a tractor. Here we're just unloading everything, taking everything out. It's so much nicer now not having boxes on top of boxes like we did in the last trip. All right, so we just wanted to see how out of level it actually was, because when you're looking at it from the GoPro and even standing up there, it looks fine. The kids the other day leveled out a table, and I'll put that picture in and you'll see how bad it was. But basically from there to there, which is 30 feet, I'm estimating that is about 2 feet lower than that is. So sure, maybe you just got to take a foot from there and put it over there and be level. There's a lot of bushes. I believe the elevation we're at is 8,600 feet. So not easy. And then we were here for maybe, and I mean maybe, like a couple of hours. And I'm sunburned, the kids are sunburned. The sun up here is very intense, but the solar system was rocking. So while we were in town, we were thinking and praying, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then literally right next to us, a guy shows up in a backhoe that says he's ready for work. Took his card, so we're going to call him and see if he can come out and level this out. I think we're thinking about maybe a 40 by 40 foot space. So the cinder blocks we got from Alamosa, we're going to lay those out in a square pattern, so that when he comes up, because we might not be here, he'll know exactly where we were thinking about doing it. So I'll time lapse that. So we're just laying out these cinder blocks in a square formation so that he knows about where we want this leveled out. We actually bought these cinder blocks to help anchor down the big tent, but we'll just use them for this, and then hopefully they're still here after he's done laying everything out and leveling out the ground. So beautiful here. Can't wait to develop the property more. That's a storm, but apparently it's going to miss us. There's the mountain right there that we can, let me see if I can block it. Hey, there it is. There's the mountain. Got a great view of whole valley. As far as I can tell from the map, we own all the way down that gully, up that ridge, and then down that part all the way to back there. It's about maybe a little over 5 acres. Me and the kids decided to climb down into the ravine just to check it out. You know, from the GoPro, it doesn't look very hilly, but this property is very hilly. It actually goes up right there and then up even more. All right, so we gave that guy a call with the tractor, and he came right out and started working and leveling out the ground. So that was pretty cool. So here's some shots that he sent of him leveling out the ground. We're pretty excited about this and can't wait to get back here and check it out. All right, so after the property and this driving, everything's pretty well destroyed. There's a bug life. Like almost all of the silicone that I put on just got covered in dirt. So my beautiful rims. So we're gonna try to hose it down, see what happens. See if we can get it. I don't think it's working very well. Maybe see if you can crank it up to something.
There's a selector for the foam brush. So I think
Whoa, there it goes. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking. Is that it? All right, so we're leaving our property a little early. We're gonna let that guy level out the ground so that we're not in his way, he's not in our way. And we're just gonna go to Colorado Springs early and visit some family. The kids are having a great time visiting with their cousins that they hadn't seen in years. But while we're there, we're staying at the Great Wolf Lodge, which is kind of like a hotel with like a little theme park. It has a water park attached to it. I didn't take any video in there because there's a bunch of people with their kids and stuff like that. It didn't seem right. Inside of it was super cool. Definitely geared towards families, I would say. They have indoor climbing walls, a miniature golf, indoor arcade where the kids had a lot of fun at. But this is the entrance into the pool area with a bunch of slides and stuff. Here's the giant water slides. They actually come out of the building and then go back in. Went on all of these with the kids. That yellow and red one, that one's pretty intense, but they were all really fun, and we all had a really good time. Me and the kids had a great time in the arcade. This was a nice stop in the trip to just unwind and have some fun. They also have some great restaurants in here. I got this chicken sandwich, which was amazing. My wife got the fish, which she really liked. We also got this dessert, this strawberry shortcake thing. That was great. I would come back here just for the food. Here's another shot of this crazy climbing wall thing that they got going through. Our kids were even panning for, I don't know if they're panning for gold or just fancy rocks. We're now leaving Colorado Springs and heading to Cheyenne, Wyoming. Okay, we made it to Cheyenne, Wyoming now. Everything's holding up fine. Just left the Great Wolf Lodge and everything is good. Really excited to check out Wyoming. We're staying at another Holiday Inn Express. I think we're going to Douglas to the county fair tomorrow, and then on to Casper. So pick you back up there. All right, we made it to Douglas, Wyoming. That's where the state fair is at. We're here just getting our tickets, and now we're walking around. It's much more spread out than the county fairs I've been to. So we're just exploring around, just looking at all the food vendors. Unfortunately, I think we came here when we were a little hungry. So our first mandatory stop is funnel cake, or else the family might revolt. So we got 2 funnel cakes, and these were pretty much gone right away. I was able to convince my daughter and my son to try bacon lemonade. All right, try your bacon lemonade.
Okay, let's see. Do we get the one for that? Can we get that?
How's that taste?
Like bacon. That's some bacon in there.
Trying some bacon lemonade.
Tastes like lemonade. Out there.
So this is the butterfly chips. So I think what it is they he has like a hand drill and he just shaves a potato and then they fry it up. What did you get? Brisket sandwich? So what did you buy?
I bought a bucket of mini donuts because who wouldn't buy a bucket of mini donuts if they could, right? Too much powdered sugar.
So we walked through all of the state fair. It was pretty interesting. It seemed like a lot of people were raising animals for show. It was kind of interesting to see people blow drying their cows and their goats to make their hair perfect. Like right here, these are some fluffy animals right here. On our way out, I saw this on the back of one of the trailers and just had to share it with you guys. But now we're headed off to Casper, Wyoming. Okay, we made it to the next Holiday Inn Express in Casper, Wyoming. We left Cheyenne, Wyoming this morning and headed to Douglas, Wyoming for the Wyoming State Fair. It was pretty cool. Definitely more focused on animals and livestock, but you know, we're in Wyoming. And then we headed off to Casper. We checked out the town, went into the Ranch Outfitters, which is a really old store. It's pretty cool. My wife got, I think she got prickly pear, or she got some kind of pear syrup or something. Then we went to the Rialto soda fountain, which is pretty good. And then we ate at Sanford's. Sanford's was pretty interesting. It's sort of like a retro diner with a lot of old vintage cars, signs, stuff like that. Cars that went down an alleyway, and then a bunch of old beat up cars on a berm. Lots of cool stuff. I got trash can lid nachos that were pretty good. Wife got like a French dip. Kids got nuggets, burger, and ribs. Everything is pretty cool, pretty good. But tomorrow we're headed off to our Wyoming Life's ranch to stay in their Airbnb. So I can't wait for that. That should be fun, and we'll film as much of that as we can, and it should be pretty cool. But I really like Casper. Casper is a really cool town. All right, we just made it to our Wyoming Life's Airbnb. Pretty cool. The ranch is across the street there. This one's pretty cool because over there is where they have all the RV stalls. So I guess you can come. There's a dump station and a potable water station, just a hose. What's cool is there's some cows over here. They're just munching away. Oh yeah. So tomorrow we're gonna go on I guess some kind of farm tour. That looks like his wife's greenhouse is over there. And there is some talk on the news about possibly being able to see the northern lights if we look to the north, which this is the north. So I don't know, we'll see. I don't know if we're north enough in Wyoming to even see it, or if you're even going to be able to see them in Wyoming. Might be more of a Montana, but we'll see. But it looks pretty cool. I'll put in a house tour here, probably just narrate it. We just ate some of their beef and some of their carrot cake. Pretty good, pretty good. I think my wife wants to do some more shopping in their farm store, so we'll go ahead and do that. But yeah, pretty cool so far. All right, so this is a really nice, cozy country home. There's a dining room. There's like a game room with a ping pong table and 2 pinball games. Here's the first bedroom. Here's the second bedroom. And the third bedroom. Has a pretty nice bathroom. Has a washer and dryer, which is really nice, so we can do some laundry. Pretty big kitchen. My wife is excited about that, so she can start cooking up some stuff. And then off the kitchen, there is a living room, and then there's like another small, almost dining room right here. Overall, pretty cool.
They use this basket weave to keep them growing vertically. Usually tomatoes will go into like a bush or just lay on the ground. These ones will actually tie all the way up to these strings that are in the ceiling, and they'll grow vertically. So money to be able to feed her, so we decided to take her. Pip is our billy goat, so he's in here making sure we have baby goats, which are due in October as well. So, about 6 to 8 months. Back there is our peacock, by the way. He's our watchdog. He pretty much takes care of the whole ranch. He will chase off a coyote, bobcats, fox, that kind of thing. He will definitely do. He's well worth his weight in gold. It's nothing for our kids to go to school on the first day of school in snow boots and jackets. Monday is the first day of school, so we'll see what happens. Also, the last day of school is sometimes with snow too.
So this is a little store that we found in downtown Gillette called KDJ's. I stopped because it said cinnamon rolls, but once we got inside, it had a lot of like locally made goods like honey, salsas, just whatever everybody's making around, they can sell at this store. So my wife was very excited, and we ended up buying a lot of stuff from here. In this cooler, it had cake pops, pies, raw milk, cream, you name it, it was here. So it was pretty cool. All right, so what did you buy from KDJ's?
Okay, so I got this. I love mason jars. Mason jar of raw milk, some tortillas, some peach green tea, which smells amazing. I got some elderberry syrup, some local raw honey, and then some elderberry infused honey.
Did you get that starter too, or no?
Oh yeah, here, it's in the fridge. So we got an ooey gooey caramel cinnamon roll, and this delicious looking cream cheese cinnamon roll. I got some sourdough starter, so it has all the instructions in here, and it's dehydrated, so you just reactivate it. And then we also got these cake pops, which look really good.
And this is only 5-10 minutes from the Airbnb.
Right.
In downtown Gillette?
Yeah, it was. I don't remember what street it was on, but yeah.
So we are leaving this morning, unfortunately. I guess we'll walk over and check out the cows. That cow's like going full up on that hay bale. What are you doing up there? Look at him looking at me like, what are you gonna do about it? What are you doing up there? You got like hay in your nose. So yeah, we're just loading up the vehicle right now. Had a great time here. So from here, we're gonna go maybe look at Story, Wyoming, maybe not. Definitely gonna stop at Sheridan. Not for the night, just maybe for lunch or just to look around. And then from there, it's, I believe, Highway 14, which is supposedly pretty sketchy. You know, like a 10% grade. And, you know, it just goes on forever. Apparently it goes on for like 8 miles at a 10% grade. So we'll see how we can do, fingers crossed. After that highway, we're stopping at Cody. We're stopping at Cody just for one night, and then we're on to Yellowstone. I think we're just gonna rip through Yellowstone. We're just gonna be there a day. Just gonna see the main sites. Kids aren't really down for hiking, neither is my wife. So just gonna see if we can do the main things, then stop in Jackson, spend, I think, 2 nights in Jackson. Then the next morning, we're gonna go Grand Tetons, and then from there, might meet up with some friends, but more than likely we're gonna hit Salt Lake City, then St. George maybe, and then from there just heading home. But this is the furthest we're gonna be away from California on this trip. If you look at it on the map, like we're the furthest away. From here on out, we're going to start heading back west and then eventually southwest to get back to Southern California. But definitely very eye-opening. People are super nice around here compared to California. Definitely thinking about this for the future. It's a really big deal though, so can't make the decision lightly. But all right, so I'll pick you back up in the car. All right, so we just left Gillette, Wyoming. We went to Sheridan, and now we're on Highway 14. This is that crazy grade of 8 to 10% and has an altitude at the top of 9,455 feet. And once we get to the top, the Tahoe's kind of hot, overheating. And then I see a guy who's going to jump off the top of it. So we just sit here and watch him go off. So that was pretty cool. All right, we made it to the Holiday Inn. No, it's not an Express. It's just the Holiday Inn in Cody. A little update on the trailer. Everything seems to be going fine so far. There's some kind of weird splatter going on. I'm not sure if that's like a bug that hit or if it's the grease that's leaking or something. We ripped through that 14 pass. So we stopped at the Buffalo Bill gift shop, which is just at the entrance to the Holiday Inn. And we checked that out for a little bit. Kind of cool stuff in there. Didn't find anything I couldn't live without. And then we ate dinner at Granny's Family Dining. Pretty good. Nothing, too great. I don't know that it'd win any awards or anything. But, when you're traveling, it's good to eat at different places instead of going to McDonald's and Wendy's and Taco Bell. So it was pretty good. Gigantic cinnamon roll with a caramel frosting coating thing. Pretty good. There's a little rabbit right there. Little bunny. I don't know why he's just hanging out in a parking spot. Very cute though. Oh, there he goes. So, trailer's doing good. Been wanting to check the PSI on these tires, but they've been, haven't been giving me any trouble. I don't really like how much these tires have been bulging, but not much to do about that. Inside the door says 35. I already have these in the mid 40s, 42 when it's hot, 43 when it's really hot, 45 sometimes. But so the game plan for tomorrow is we're leaving the hotel about 8:30 in the morning, probably going to get some breakfast, and then we're heading directly into Yellowstone. So we're going to go through Yellowstone. Like I said before, I don't think we're going to do much hiking or anything like that. We're just going to stop and see some of the big stuff like Old Faithful, Prismatic Pond, I think it's called, or something like that, Prismatic Lake. Our hotel's in Jackson, so we're going to stop in Jackson, and then we're going to go, because I guess the way it works is you drive through Yellowstone, and then we're going to go drive through the Grand Tetons, stop at Jackson, and then go back up to the Grand Tetons, stay another night in Jackson, and then I think from there we're going to Salt Lake City. So we'll see how all that goes, but I'll pick you back up tomorrow and hopefully do a nice hyperlapse from the inside of the whole Yellowstone and Grand Tetons and stuff like that. All right, we're off. We're just going to negotiate through this parking lot, which is pretty tight. All right, now we're off to Yellowstone. So we understand that one day through Yellowstone is nowhere near enough. And realistically, we're only doing half of the lower loop. But we were already going to be up here anyways, and we thought, hey, let's just drive through it. Let's just see what we can see while we're there. And we saw a bunch of bison. One was even crossing the road right in front of us, so that was pretty cool. Really gorgeous landscapes. So even though we weren't here for as long as we would like, it was better to go than to have not gone. So that was pretty cool. Also, I will say that cell phone coverage is spotty at best, and it really helps to download a map inside of here before you come in, because there was I wasn't getting any cell phone coverage inside of here at all. Maybe by the gift shops a little bit, but that was about it. Alright, so here is the prismatic pools. Parking here is definitely a challenge, especially with a trailer. So we're just kind of following this trail that's going up right here. We're not really sure if we're supposed to be here or not, but there's other people walking this way. And we get up here, there's no guardrails, and it's kind of like, you understand that these are hot because there's a bunch of like magma underneath you because you're on a volcano. And it was also kind of weird the further out here you got, because you would get hit with steam and then cold air would come through and then steam. So it was like this really weird dynamic that would happen. All right, so here I'm walking up to the main pool. You can actually climb up the hill back there and see it from a better angle. But there is the main pool right there. So on our way out, you'll see a bunch of smaller pools. None of them are quite as big or as pretty as the other one. It does get a lot of traffic, but it wasn't that many people, but it was kind of problematic to park though.
The colorful ones over there.
So then we stopped into the Yellowstone general store to see if we couldn't find any mementos or trinkets for the trailer. A bunch of cool stuff in here, a lot of handmade type stuff. We were kind of more looking for like patches and stuff like that, stuff to put inside the trailer. But they have a pretty decent grocery store that's in here.
Alright, I got some Rocky Road fudge.
Okay.
I got this cool Yellowstone cap.
That.
We got a bison tea towel for the trailer. And we got 2 patches.
2 new patches. We couldn't decide, so we took them both. This is only $1, but I thought I could like adhere it to the trailer somewhere.
A new keychain.
New keychain. Couldn't pass up on this mug.
It's
Just
very gorgeous.
Just the
mug.
colors on it. Had it.
It's a refrigerator magnet.
A refrigerator magnet.
So cute.
So I was able to convince everybody to go on at least one hike to the lower falls. I wasn't sure about this, but then as we started into it, all the switchbacks going down, I was like, oh, this is going to be bad getting back out. And it pretty much was. There's a lot of places to stop and sit, so if you pace yourself and take your time, but there's a ton of switchbacks going all the way down. But it's pretty cool, and it's beautiful. You're on this overlook so you're on top of the waterfall as it's going over.
All right, the climb back up pretty much sucked.
Yeah, right.
Sucked?
Yeah.
Did it suck?
Yeah.
It was bad. Just got done with the hike. Everybody's using the bathroom now. I would say it was worth it. I mean, it was pretty nice out. It was pretty cool, but now it's pretty hot. But here's some pictures of me just lifting my wife was holding on to my backpack, my camera bag as I was going up. pretty funny. I was dragging her up the whole way. But yeah, I think that was the only hike we're gonna do today.
So we did stop by to see if Old Faithful was going to go off, and it wasn't supposed to go off for another 45 minutes. So we decided just to head to Jackson at this point. We were already going to kind of get into Jackson a little bit late, and that's if there's not a lot of traffic. So this is the view of the Grand Tetons from the highway. Pretty cool. All right, so here we are. We now entered into downtown Jackson, and we're finally done with traveling today from Cody, Wyoming.
All right, we made it to Jackson. No problem still. We're staying at the Mountain Modern Motel. And I'll insert here when we showed the kids, because we spent extra and got these bunk bed type rooms. So the kids are pretty happy. Gonna have to do a little bit more scouting out for what we were gonna do tomorrow. We plan to explore Jackson a little bit, and then from there go on and eat dinner and breakfast, lunch, and a few restaurants we would like to check out. So I think we're gonna do that, and then tomorrow we're gonna explore the Grand Tetons, and then we should be relatively done with Wyoming, and then headed to Salt Lake City, I think.
Is that funny or what?
Yeah, it does look kind of funny.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yep, we had to actually book that, so.
Oh. It is the same. Actually, I think the bunk beds are more comfortable.
So there was two places we stopped and ate at. A pizza place. The pizza was okay. It was very loud there, though. Kind of reminded me of like a half sports bar. Then in the morning we went to the Bunnery. There does usually tend to be a line. I got coffee. It kind of reminds me of kind of like a Denny's in a way. I don't know that the food was any kind of better than like a Denny's.
You look hungry, Laura.
The pastries I thought were pretty good. And here's a little tour of the restaurant. Most of the pastries are up here at the front. There's this almond loaf that I really like. So I think next time, I think we're just going to run in and get some pastries. It'd be a little bit cheaper. All right, so now we're going to head to Schwabacher's Landing. That's a better place to see the Grand Tetons. You get a reflection off of the river, or it's kind of like a little lake, I guess. It's a little challenging to get to it, and it's also more challenging to get down into it with a trailer, but we just go for it. So there's a turnoff by the highway, and then it's dirt roads down in. But you can see right here that there's not really a good spot to turn around with the trailer.
So me and the family decided to come out to Schwabacher Landing. So you got to park way over there and then walk over here. But you could see the Grand Tetons. During the morning, the water's a little bit more still. That's my daughter out there. And you can get a reflection of the Grand Tetons in the water. Around lunchtime, which it's now, there's almost nobody here. Except for you and the bugs. But very picturesque. Got a few shots. Show those now. It's a nice little trail. I did bring the trailer here. I do not recommend bringing a trailer in here. This is for smaller vehicles. So you can see that the wind is blowing pretty good right now. I guess the hope is in the morning the wind won't be affecting the water, so you get a more glassy lake, which would be a better reflection. It's pretty obvious, the trail. Yeah, very nice, very picturesque. It's pretty much level ground. It's not even that much of a hike, so I wouldn't worry about that.
All right, we're leaving the Grand Tetons and we are headed home now. This is quite a long drive, but we just kind of power through. Just want to get home at this point. I think we've been gone over 3 weeks at this point, so it's just time to get home. The scenery right here is pretty awesome though. It's a nice sunset. All right, we made it back. Now it's just time to unhitch the trailer, wheel it in, and then we'll go over how the trailer did. Did any of the solar panels fly off? But all in all, I think it was a pretty good trip. All right, the trailer's unhooked. Just pulling the Tahoe out of the way. Putting the wheel dollies on. And then we're gonna push it in. Slow down. All right, push. Stop. All right, so let's check it out. So it was 3,604.5 miles. We had an average miles per gallon of 12.3. So that's not too bad, especially with those grades that we went on. We'll see if we can improve on it next time, but overall, that's not too bad for towing as many miles and through all these mountains that we were on.
All right, I climbed up here on top after we got back. Just wanted to see how everything was doing. All the panels still really tight. Didn't see any damage. There was actually some tree sap on these that I cleaned off. You know, the only thing that I noticed was it got pretty hot, and some of the butyl tape pushed its way through the construction adhesive, and I need to like pick all this off now. I don't know if I'd recommend the butyl tape. It just keeps, like, when it was really hot, you could see it kind of just working its way out. Like it lost some of its viscosity and started getting looser. I mean, everything looks pretty darn good. I mean, we went through some pretty bad weather. I'm pretty happy. Nothing moved. There was no crazy wind wobbles, you know, like any kind of whoa, 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 as we're going down the road. Nothing like that. Everything seemed to be perfectly fine. Cruising down the road, 2 to 4 of the panels was all that was needed on. Actually, on a sunny day, only 2 panels was needed to not only power the fridge, power the bathroom fan and the light, whatever, but it still was, on top of that, it still was giving like 5 to 7 amps to the battery to charge. So it was only 2 panels that it was taking on an okay sunny day to power the whole thing, so anything else was just overkill. So pretty happy with that, pretty good. It's kind of nice when a plan comes together and everything's fine. You know, the other thing I was worried about was like the wind ripping through here or something like that might create like some like whistle as you're going down the road, like nothing. So, and I would say, you know, at times we were going, you know, the speed limit was 80, so I was going 80, maybe 82, 83. But in Utah, when the speed limit was 80, I was going 80. And it was completely fine. So far, we did not notice any leaks on the inside, which is really good. Especially with all the holes I drilled right here. The only other thing is the silicone that I put around the lights, it seemed to just collect dirt. You see that? That was brand new silicone, and now it's like, I don't even know, it's like covered in, I guess you can really scrub it off, but it's crazy how much, like, it just sucks down the dirt. And it kind of made it look pretty horrible when it was dirty. Yeah, all that needs to be cleaned and buffed. All right. Thanks for watching. In the next videos that are coming up, we upgrade the water system again, and we add more batteries, and there's plenty of other things that we're going to do to this trailer. So please like the videos, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out. That really helps us to keep building more and to do more stuff. And in the future, we do plan on being on the property and camping a lot more. This trip was just kind of unique in the way it kind of worked out, but we will be staying at RV parks and camping a lot more in the future, so please stay tuned.